Breaking down Meghan Markle's biggest porcupines from her latest podcast appearance. Hi, I'm home. And of course, while I was on an airplane, Meghan Markle dropped a new podcast appearance that I think we could have all lived without. But of course, when we're getting so much great content from the actual working royals, whether it be Royal Ascot or Order of the Garter, Trooping the Color, all the goodness, all the goodies, all of I mean, to me, this is my favorite time as a royal watcher. Yeah, of course, Meghan's got to interrupt it with some whatever the opposite of breaking news is. Like it, what is she promoting? Everything is on hold right now. So the fact that she's putting herself out there, it just to me it shows how obsessed she is with the media attention that unfortunately we give her. So I had a really great guest lined up for today and their internet didn't work. So I had to reschedule it for tomorrow. I'm working on my Friday to get you some great reaction to this podcast. Scott Rouse and I are going to catch up again. And he has got some really interesting insight into the body language of this podcast appearance. I read someone else's body language reaction to Meghan's podcast appearance. And one thing that stood out for me, and I'm going to have to ask Scott this specifically, is I think it's Judy James. Is that the name of the body language expert that is utilized a lot throughout the UK? Meghan, there's a sense of resentment, according to her, when Meghan talks about Serena Williams and all of her success. Yes, she name drops, which there's a thing that they say that Meghan typically does when she name drops big people. Like she makes this face in a hand gesture, like she's very proud that she associates with these big people. But then when the host references Serena's real accomplishments and success, her own success, it seems like the body language expert said that she sensed a little bit of resentment from Meghan, that it was either resentment that the host interrupted Meghan, or that Meghan was having to acknowledge someone else's success. Meghan was there to talk about herself. And it's like, well, duh, according to recent reports, Meghan was scheming, trying to knock Serena allegedly off of Vogue because she wanted that Vogue cover, and Anna Wintour was like, not today, Satan. Anyway, let's break down some of the quotes from Meghan Markle in this latest podcast. So she says she's proudest of investing in herself. It's been so many years since we came over here, she says, referring to her move to California. I do think it takes a little bit of courage to bet on yourself, and that's felt really good. I mean, of course it's easier to bet on yourself when, despite publicly failing repeatedly, whether it's Spotify or American Riviera Orchard or whatever, there's somebody waiting in the wings to give you another break because of the man you're married to, because of your proximity to the British royal family. Yeah, it's easy to bet on yourself when people keep giving you a chance, despite the fact that you fail. The return on investment is not there. You lack the work ethic required to function in today's society where everybody is somebody. Everybody, celebrity has evolved. You're not just a movie star anymore. There are all these influencers out there, and they can have 16 million followers, but when nobody recognizes them when they're grocery shopping, everything's changed. And it's really easy to bet on yourself when people are willing to give you an opportunity because you're vaguely associated with the current king. And the current king refuses to say anything negative about you despite your past behavior. Yeah, it's easy. So congratulations on betting on yourself, but you're in a completely different lane. You are in a very privileged lane So that's not really advice to anyone. That's not going to be beneficial for anybody else to hear. Bet on yourself. Why? Because Lemonada podcast is going to be waiting in line after Spotify gives you the boot. If you're a rando, not so much. That's not our reality. If you could rewrite your public narrative from scratch, is there anything that you would do differently? And Meghan says yes. This is great because it's actually Meghan finally taking accountability. I'm lying. No, it's not. This is what Meghan says. Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth. Still blaming other people. That was such a great opportunity to say something humble, to say something, to have a little humility and to say, gosh, I mean, I don't think she's capable of it, but to say, of course, I would do things differently. We love our family. I mean, we love our extended family. I mean, that there were a million ways for her to make to say something really significant there. And instead, she's like, I wish the people would tell the truth about me. Okay, we are. I'm here. Hey, I've been here for a while. The truth is that you're a jerk. So there's that. What an idiotic reaction to that this woman gave her the stage to say something really poignant and something that could have changed the trajectory of Meghan's future, her career. And of course, Meghan, it's like another veiled swipe at the British royal family. Like, they were lying about me. No, actually, nobody talks about you over there anymore. I, I'm proof. I just spent a significant amount of time over there, and you're not on their radar. So, when asked if she ever gets angry, Meghan says, peaks and valleys. She continues, my dear friend Serena. This is the moment I was telling you about. Go watch this clip. Watch Meghan talking about Serena. And then when the host interrupts her to talk about what a girl boss Serena is, there's a physical change in Meghan. She told me years ago, a lie can't live forever. 8 years is a long time, but not forever. Uh, yeah, you're right. A lie can't live forever, which is why we now know that there's no royal racist within the British royal family. That lie started thanks to you on the Oprah Winfrey program. So that's good advice. A lie can't live forever. And we're more confident and excited about the British royal family than ever before. Meghan says it's okay to say no. It's okay to say I'm not comfortable answering that. It's okay to pivot and to really get to the place where you don't feel like you have to explain yourself. And I think that comes with time, maturity, work, support surrounding you. She adds, but also to be authentic, something she knows nothing about. I don't think there's any value either in being so rehearsed. My God, does this woman have, does she hear herself when she talks? I'm confused. Like, does she watch this stuff back and go, oh? And I think that, and just having your talking points, just talk. Well, when she just talks without talking points, she accuses people of racism. Okay, so maybe she should stick to some structured, some key facts, some facts that there are actually receipts for versus just verbally vomiting in a chair next to Oprah Winfrey. But also this idea that it's okay to say no. You don't have to explain yourself. Every one of these podcast episodes, every one of these interviews, Meghan is explaining herself. She's about to go on here she tells us throughout this interview that her podcast is on hold. Her podcast is she's going to pause that for a little bit. And she says she has plans to bring it back. I'll get into the details, but that's explaining people like myself, people like Maureen Callahan, demanding to know where season 2 is. If it's so successful, which we know analytically it's not, where season 2, she's hearing these critiques, she's hearing these questions, and she's answering some of these criticisms. She talks about the twerking video. She answers her critics throughout these interviews. So when she tells you, you don't have to explain yourself, when she tells Jamie Kern Lima that she is tired of the prove it game, that girl it's halftime for that girl. She's plenty still in the game. And you get that in this podcast episode because she continues to explain herself. She continues to try to prove herself. She's answering her critics, but she does it in these arenas. And I'm sorry, but the way she tries to dismiss some of these failures as pauses, or just taking a break or whatever, it doesn't make sense to anybody that has any sort of common sense whatsoever. You're sitting there going, why wouldn't you try to take advantage of the hype surrounding this? Okay, you're telling us you have this incredibly successful podcast, so successful that Beyonce's mom is begging you to be on it, but you don't want to continue to do that. Nobody would turn down, or nobody would pull back or unplug from something that was a something they deemed a positive effort, putting positivity into the world, and B, that was successful or monetarily successful. I think I told you, it's estimated that she made approximately $40,000 with season one. I'm sorry, but I just don't think she thinks that's worth her time. And it's okay to say no, girl. You quit the royal family after like 17 months as a working member. You quit Trevor Ingleson. We know you're okay with saying no. That's not breaking news. You're a quitter. American Riviera Orchard. We're gonna pour one out for our homie, American Riviera Orchard. Like, we get it. You're okay with saying no. You're okay with quitting. We established that a very, very long time ago. You see how clearly obsessed she is with other people making money off of her. Regarding fashion, she says, you start to watch how it's being monetized at such a huge level globally, oftentimes not giving credit to the brands and the designers who actually made those pieces. So it's a fine line between, well, do you want to spoon feed who the brands and the designers are when it feels promotional? Don't act like you have any problem with things feeling promotional. We've seen your affiliate links, okay? Um, when I have no skin in the game in any of those arrangements, Meghan continues, though, she was shocked that would happen with what her children wore. What was so wild, maybe the surprise came, was when anything that my children were wearing started to get monetized and affiliate sales and part of the headlines and things. That's where it became a little uncomfortable. But at the same time, when it comes from a place of love and excitement, very, very different, then you can be happy about it. Now, this is the same woman that was linking outfits that looked so similar to things that William and Catherine's children were wearing. She was trying to make money. Go look at the headlines from the Daily Mail and places like that. Meghan was monetizing with affiliate links the outfits of William and Catherine's children. So, I mean, I'm floored that she would have the audacity to say this, that she's watching other people make money off of her children's outfits when she is making money on William and Catherine's children's outfits, a couple that she clearly aspires to be, but no longer acknowledges her existence on the planet. The hypocrisy astounds. Does it? I mean, I think we should have just expect it these days, but I still can't believe half the things that come out of her mouth. When asked what she's currently aspiring for, Meghan responds, success, emotional success, happiness. And another point in the interview, she says, my faith is greater than my fear. I believe in myself. Girl, could you just have these conversations with yourself in the mirror in one of your 16 bathrooms and exclude us? I believe in the team around me, which is why they're dropping like flies. I believe in our potential for success. She adds, I don't see the possibility of failure. Well, it's happened, so you should be able to just accept it. Not when you can learn from everything you've done. It's easy to feel this way when you continue to get opportunities despite literal failures. Because of Prince Harry. I know I've already made this point, but it's easy to be like, everything's going to be okay when you've got Lemonada and people like that going, you know, we're not turned off by the fact that you produced little to nothing for Spotify despite a huge opportunity and payday. Before she decided to lean into jam, she debated fashion and beauty. Though she isn't ruling them out down the road, she said, if I had gone into beauty, for example, it was definitely something that people were asking me to get involved in. I think it could be fun. I think there would be a time for that. I think there will certainly be a time for fashion, but I think ultimately I wanted to do what felt authentic. But I also recognize that there are variables you don't have to think about when you're doing composition of makeup. This, again, people wanted me to get into fashion. Beyonce's mom wanted to be on my podcast. People love me. I'm so popular. Nobody champions this woman more than this woman. I mean, constantly telling us how much she's loved, how constantly reminding us of how many opportunities she's given or are been offered. I cannot imagine Prince Harry's having to overhear this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to have to start a Pray for Harry group, okay? Because can you imagine this constant conversation of how great she is at home? And he does this to us too. Um, but I this has to get on his nerves sometimes, right? Just the constant, like, I am so great. Everyone loves me. About the twerking video and social media, she says it feels liberating. It was a great way for me to get my voice back. You left the British royal family 5 years ago. You've had plenty of voice. Just chill out. Also, there are a couple of burner accounts that I'm 110% are you. So don't pretend like you haven't had a voice for the last 5 years. It's my space and my channel for joy. That is the intention of my channel. Well, it offended me, girlfriend. I think you need to keep your knees together. But I digress. When asked if she would ever do something just for the money, Meghan responds, I have turned down a lot of opportunities that do not feel value aligned. It's very easy to say no. We know you're a quitter. No matter the price. If you aren't going, you quit Deal or No Deal too. I could just go on and on. I could go on for days about all the things you've quit. We know you're a quitter. It's easy to say no. No matter the price, if you aren't going to be able to sleep well at night, don't sacrifice that. She uses Retail Me Not to check for sales, was another highlight from the interview, which of course she does. Her husband's unemployed. You got to do what you got to do. But that, I can't believe I just spent 20 minutes talking about this podcast. Well, almost. I thought it was shockingly void of anything, of any substance whatsoever. She doesn't have anything significant to promote right now. This is just her promoting herself, talking about herself. She seemed a little bit more comfortable than she did on the Jamie. Well, I don't even want to say comfortable. Maybe the word is comfortable. It's certainly not authentic, despite her using that word. Than she did on the Jamie Kern Lima interview. I think she's like a chameleon. She's pandering to specific audiences. She's looking at who is she talking to when she's talking to this host, what is their demo, and she's pandering to specific demos based on the host and the show and that show's audience. So it's not a little bit more authentic. I don't know. It's just different from the Jamie Kern Lima podcast. And then, her talking about putting her podcast on hold. She claims Confessions of a Female Founder will be going on hiatus, allowing her to focus on With Love, Meghan, and As Ever. Let me tell you why I think this is a lie, because Newsweek reported that the podcast came into the Spotify charts at number 24 on April 10th. 2 days after its release. And then Newsweek says that archived versions of the site show that by April 12th, it had dropped out of the top 100 again. I think that she doesn't like, it's why she's blocked comments and things on her Instagram. I think she doesn't like being on platforms that can hold her accountable analytically. Like, she can drop out of Netflix's top 10 pretty quickly. We will recognize that. But Netflix is not going to distribute those numbers so that we can critique by numbers with receipts how poorly her television show does for Netflix compared to the only commercial success they had, which was the documentary where they're tearing into her in-laws. Another example of this is so in Instagram, she can hide engagement. Netflix, she's not held accountable with real analytics publicly, but with her podcast, she is. With her podcast, we can look at numbers. We can compare to previous success stories or other similar podcasts. And I think she does not like being in that position. And so I think she's going to avoid that. Let me know if you think that I'm on the right track there with that thought process, that the reason, but I've also said this, and I stand by this. She doesn't like being a podcast host. She likes being interviewed for podcasts. She wants to talk about herself. And I firmly believe that to be true too. But I also think there's something about finding ways to create content where there are, otherwise she'd be on YouTube. I mean, look at, there's a YouTube audience for Meghan Markle. Hi, hello. So I think that that's why she wants to drop out of the podcast game. She says maybe she'll come back one day where she can compare where she was at the beginning to where she is now. But it's classic Meghan. She will show up for an envelope being opened, but doesn't want to accomplish a freaking thing. She's all about the blitz, the PR blitz, but when it comes to the actual execution, that's where she falls short. So agree with me, disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.